Hey, y'all, this is Keith Arthur Bolden, hashtag the actor professor. You can catch me in the movie Till. You can catch me on Cobra Kai and Lovecraft Country, amongst other things. You are listening to my man, Mark Lamont Hill, on theGrio.
Right now on theGrio, activist and scholar Dr. Cornel West hopes to be the first third-party candidate to win the Oval Office. He joins us tonight to talk about his presidential platform, plus addressing the content creator pay gap, how black content creators can get paid for what they are worth.
Look, and they say big folk was you scared to make diamonds up out of pressure, put 100 on their head, it's about time they gotta respect us.
And from balling on the court to balling in the studio, we'll talk all about the buzz surrounding LSU basketball star Flo J. theGrio with Mark Lamont Hill starts now. Good evening and thank you for joining me on theGrio tonight. I am your host, Mark Lamont Hill. We begin tonight looking ahead to 2024 and what disruptive, revolutionary politics looks like. We have a very special guest to help us do that. His name is Dr. Cornel West. Philosopher, scholar, human rights activist, Dr. Cornel West is a man of many talents and has made many contributions to our society. And now he wants a shot at the Oval Office.
I enter in the quest for truth. I enter in the quest for justice. And the presidency is just one vehicle to pursue that truth and justice, what I've been trying to do all of my life.
Nearly 2 weeks after West announced his candidacy for the People's Party, he switched his party affiliation, tweeting, "In the spirit of a broad, united front and coalition strategy, I'm pursuing the nomination of the Green Party for President of the United States." If he does succeed in that attempt, he is likely to have much broader ballot access in the general election. That could potentially take away more votes from President Joe Biden and, of course, whoever the Republican incumbent is going to be. Dr. West joins us now. My brother, so good to see you. Congratulations on the announcement. Tell us what made you want to run for president. Now, I know it ain't the first time you've been asked.
Well, one though, brother, anytime I get a chance to be in conversation with you, such a high quality brother, freedom fighter for so long, I'm full of joy. So I hope you see the smile on my face. But no, you know, brother, the calling is still the same, man, which is how do you cast a spotlight on the plight of poor working class people and poor people of all colors. But I begin on the chocolate side of town. That's what I've been trying to do for the last 55 years. And I think this is a very, very crucial moment because it's very clear the two-party system does not speak to the needs of poor black people and working black people. It doesn't speak to the needs of poor working people as a whole. Both parties tied to Wall Street, both parties tied to military expansion and connected to the Pentagon. Both parties are driven by professional managerial elites who don't put poor and working people at the center. And see, I come out of the legacy of Fannie Lou Hamer, Martin King, Ella Baker. We ain't even got to Curtis Mayfield yet. Meaning what? You look at the world through the lens of the least of these. Of course, I'm a revolutionary Christian too, so I got a biblical criteria, right? And neither party speak to these issues. It's just very, very clear. Right now, you got what's happening in Mississippi with our dear brother Michael and Eddie in Rankin County. Neither party speak to their plight. The same is true on the West Bank. Dealing with vicious Israeli occupation. Neither party speaks to their plight. And so I try to be an internationalist. I try to be grounded in the United States, and I'm concerned about poor and working people around the world. And so I thought it was very important to raise my voice. And thank God the People's Party came through and offered me the candidacy for their party. And then we had various kinds of challenges and what have you. So I figured that by shifting to the Green Party, I shift from a ballot access to 1 or 2 states to now 20 overnight, and we can get another 21 just in a month or so. So we on the move, brother. We on the move.
So just for clarity's sake, so you will no longer be representing the People's Party? It's not that you're gaining both, it's that you're actually trying to make a move.
That's right. It is a move. It is a switch in that regard. Now, we do call for a united front, and that united front's going to have a whole host of different parties and institutions and pre-party formation. No doubt about that.
Gotcha.
But now the Green Party will be the basis because Yeah, I talked to my dear brother Baraka and sister Jill Stein and others, and they're veterans in terms of trying to put together these kinds of campaigns on behalf of poor and working people of all colors.
Now, the Green Party is a party that has a very significant impact on the voting process. I personally have been a member of the Green Party for 20 years now, and I've always advocated fighting for these issues. So that's going to bring me to two questions. The first question is a policy question. What are some policies that you want to see imposed that the current Democratic Party has been unable or unwilling to do? I already know, in some sense, what Republicans ain't willing to do. But what kind of policies are you advocating for that the Democrats haven't been willing to do?
Well, one, I'm an abolitionist, very much like my dear sister Angela Davis and others. I'm an abolitionist of poverty. I'm an abolitionist of homelessness. I've told my beloved wife that if and when I win, I'm not going in the White House until everybody has a house. That's what I learned at Shiloh Baptist Church and the Black Panther Party. You put poor people and working people at the center of what you do because you're there to serve them, just like our great musicians. You're on the stage to serve them. You're on the political stage to serve them. So I'm calling for strong support of living wage and be on the side of workers, especially when they go on strike this summer. I'm calling for reparations. Why? Because in the name of truth, in the name of justice, let's tell the truth about slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, find out what the damage is, and then provide certain kinds of repair. I'm calling for ecological policies that call into question the crucial role of the fossil fuel industry. And I'm calling for a pullback of militarism. We don't need 800 military bases around the world with more military expenditures than the bottom 10 countries. I want to head the U.S. empire in order to dismantle the empire in the name of a deeper democracy at home for working and poor people and connected to the workers' movements and poor people's movements around the world. So it is a Martin Luther King-like tradition that spills over into electoral politics and says, we want a revolution in values. We don't want a priority of profits. We want a priority of satisfying people's needs. We don't want a priority of militarism. We want the money to go into the kinds of investments that ensure that everyday people can live lives of decency and dignity.
So you mentioned the word revolutionary. Part of revolutionary action and revolutionary organizing is being tactical. There are people who would say, yes, we need an anti-imperial candidate. Yes, we need somebody to fight fascism. But there's some real-life fascists on the ballot, Ron DeSantis. Real-life fascists on the ballot, Donald Trump. And if a Green Party candidate strips votes away in key states like Pennsylvania, which we saw 8 years ago, 8 years ago, or if we see it in other states, Virginia, Ohio, etc., that we could actually, by virtue of our Green Party run, create space for the actual fascists on the ballot, the actual imperialists on the ballot, to be successful. So what do you say to people who say, while we appreciate the spirit of the run and we echo your political agenda, we're worried that your success will make it easier for Trump and DeSantis to take over the country?
I mean, one is, my brother, you don't fight fascism with caretaking, milquetoast neoliberalism. The only way you fight fascism is provide an alternative vision, alternative passion, alternative institution. When I think of some of the brothers and sisters who I would pardon Mumia Abu Jamal. I would pardon Assad. I'd invite her back. I would pardon Ed Snowden. I would pardon Julian Assange. I would pardon my dear brother H. Rap Brown, Iman Amin, right now in Arizona. Why? They have experienced the fascist side of American society under both parties. When you actually look at Cop City in Atlanta, the militarization of the police department, who votes for that? Black politicians in Atlanta, the mayors and the black politicians. What party are they part of? The Democratic Party. We know the Republican Party is becoming more neo-fascist every day, but it's also the underside of this neoliberalism that has fascist-like effects on poor people. That when you're killed by the police and it's under the Democratic Party that can't do nothing about it, that bullet feels like the bullet of any fascist, no matter what party you're talking about. But most importantly, I think there's an invisible and an immeasurable dimension to this, though, brother, because we come from a people, a great black people, We have to have a courage to break the back of the fear, to get on plantation and tell the truth and seek justice. And when you do that, you're on uncharted territory. People always say, oh, be careful, be careful. You're taking votes away from Biden. Biden don't own black people's votes. A lot of the folks voting for me don't vote at all anyway. So this sense of saying, well, anytime you break from the plantation, things get a little bit shaky. You don't say. Just make sure that you are listening. You got to be jazz-like now. You got to be improvisation. Or you listen to what your critics have to say. We don't want to reinforce a neo-fascism of a Trump. But if all we have is Biden-like candidates, fascism's coming to America, brother. Sooner or later, we're going to have an alternative structure, institution, and we're going to have our great black freedom tradition intact.
Doc, I'm up against a break. I'm going to ask you to hang out with me for one more second, man. I got 2 more questions for you. I'm going to take a quick break and come back on the other side. Everybody stay right here with Dr. Cornel West, candidate for president 2024.